Welcome to a Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nuv, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Storm of Swords, chapters 24, 25, and 26. Bran, Davos, and Jon. In these chapters, Bran hears two stories. Davos has two visitors, and Jon
Is too horny.
Welcome to the podcast, everyone. This is weird because this is the first time in a long time that we're recording like 2 weeks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we were just here, you know?
We were just here. Yeah, it's weird.
Usually we'll have gone at least 2 weeks or like it would have been a month. Like that's usually how we do it. But now it's been a week.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. Okay. So welcome to the podcast, everyone. I think I already said that, but it's cool. Who dies in these chapters, Harmit?
Oh, okay. So we start off with Bran. Did anyone die? I mean,
I don't think so, actually.
No, I don't think so. And then we had Davos.
Mm-hmm.
No one, like, died. Well, we heard about, like, all the people on the Black Bertha died.
Yeah.
But, like, we knew that. Like, been there, done that.
Yeah.
And then, who? Oh, Jon. I also don't think anyone died. Wow, people just aren't...
Yeah, we also, we heard of, like, previous, like, ancestors of the wildlings
Okay,
dying,
yeah,
like,
whatever, okay.
But you're right, nobody died.
I think it's literally been 10 chapters since I have said a death.
It's been a while. How do you feel about that?
I'm scared, because you know when it hits, it's gonna hit hard. It'll be like a full-on Stark wipeout or something.
I hope not.
Could be.
Yeah, but like, all of them are so spread out. Like, it would be hard to wipe them all out at once, you know? That's the only good thing about none of them being united with each other.
Yeah.
Unless somebody like Melisandre does a spell that's like, you know,
kill the world.
Kill all the Starks right now, and then they all drop dead wherever they are.
That would be so sad.
Anyway, okay, so nobody dies.
Again.
I guess we'll summarize.
Oh, I don't like this. We haven't read 3 in so long. I'm scared.
You got this. It's fine.
I'm really scared.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, traveling, mountains, tough. Meet a man. Man's like, turn back now. Ain't no going to the wall. Gives them food. They've been starving. Here's a story from Mira. So there's like a knight. There's like a Harrenhal tournament, and then like knight has to like fight for his honor, but it's like who fought for the knight's honor? He just kind of prayed. But it's like, was it the knight or was it Ned? Like, who knows? And then it
switch.
Who was it? Jon or no? Davos. Okay, Davos. Prisoner cell. First visitor, Melisandre. Wow, you got spirit, bro. Let me fuck you and let's create an ultra big shadow. Davos is like, nah. They've been feeding Davos.
Spirit,
Shut up. Davos has been being fed. Second visitor, well, not visitor. Second prisoner joins him in his cell. Axel, or I don't remember which one's which, but one of the brothers, the ones who was the hand, joins him because he tried to write to Tywin to be like, hey, Jon and Ygritte have been fucking, and they are about to go across the wall to raid. They find this cave. They fuck some more. He gets questioned. Oh wait, before that, he gets questioned. And like the Jarl and the Magnar Stint or something. I don't know. They're like questioning him, and they're like, oh, like how many people are there? Which camps are being occupied? What's going on? And then Ygritte's like, let's run away or let's explore the tunnels.
Okay. Interesting. I have some I have questions about some of your comprehension of some of this stuff. So, but the only way we can figure it out is if we get into it.
Okay.
So the Bran chapter.
Yeah.
We'll get to the thing, but I want to hear your, like, what did you get out of this story? Because clearly that's the big, set piece or whatever.
I'm like...
What did you gather? Like, just tell me what you understood from it.
Like, I feel like overall, without getting into too much detail, I think the story is like, what's Mira and Jojen's dad's name again?
Howland.
Reed. Okay. I think the story is like, this is why Howland is so loyal to Eddard. That's what I got out of it.
Okay. Who was the Knight of the Laughing Tree?
Ned.
Okay.
You're just nodding really aggressively.
I did not think you would say that. That's just that's a little bit of a shock. But that's okay. We'll break it down. Okay. Let's start from the beginning of Bran's chapter. Why don't you just quickly get us to the story point? Just do the things and then I'll stop you if I want to.
Okay. They're traveling. As we know, Bran's like, let's find the crow. So they're in the Wolf's Wood. They keep getting lost because it's mountain and, like, it's, like, all this, like, it's tough.
Yeah, because they're not taking the King's Road because it's, like, the obvious place where they can get caught.
Yeah.
So they're going through the mountains and then they're just, it's a trudge. And he's thinking about Rickon and Osha and how they might be nice and warm in some, like, lord's castle, and that would be nice, but
I doubt
my
it.
life sucks.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
And they're talking about,
he's like, Mira's been hunting and, like, Summer's been hunting, but there's only so much to hunt, so we're hungry a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mira's like, oh my god, up and down and up and down. I hate these stupid mountains. And Bran's like, but you said you loved them yesterday. And she's like, oh yeah, I love them more than I can say. And Bran's like, but what do you mean? You can either love them or hate them. And she's like, why can't I do both? If ice can burn and then love and hate can mate. Mountain or marsh, it makes no difference. The land is one.
That was a slay.
Yeah. And this is, like, an interesting conversation because, like, she's like, ice and fire can coexist, but then, like, later in Davos's chapter, Melisandre draws these, like, binary dichotomies of, like, fire versus
absolutely
ice.
Not. You choose one or the other. There is nothing. If you're not good, you are evil.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a cool juxtaposition to see. Where do you fall? Do you fall more in the, like, black and white, or do you?
I think the land is one.
I think that's true. I have, like, there's a part of me that does kind of, like, inherently see things as, like, kind of black or white. Like, like, I understand that they're shades of gray, but I want to kind of just categorize things into black and white, and it takes effort to not do that.
For me, it's the opposite. It's like, it takes effort. Like, because sometimes you see something and it just, like, is black or white. But for me, it's like, even when it's, like, really obvious like that, like, I struggle to, like, do that. I'm like, oh, this is just really, really dark gray. You know what I mean? Like, I have the opposite problem of you.
Yeah. So that's cool. Okay, anyway, just wanted to point that out. They're just going
Mira's
through.
like, does anyone even live here? And Bran's like, oh, like, there's all these different families. Like, there's the Umbers, Wolves, Heartclays, Knots, Littles, Norries, Flints.
So we hear about some, like, new clans, like, that we hadn't heard about before, which are the Knots and the Littles and the Norries and the Flints and the Heartclays and all of the Wolves. Oh my god, another W letter. Sorry. But yeah, so these people haven't, like, really come up before because they're, like, basically mountain dwellers, but they have good relations with Winterfell. But, like, they aren't down south fighting with Rob, so that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess
you would
it's
think
more
that
like,
when he called his banners, like, do they not like count as his banners technically? I don't know.
I guess maybe because the banners have like a certain amount of power, right? So maybe the mountain men are kind of like outside of that. Like they're a bit more common, so they can't like do as like they don't have as much.
And
like they're just
even,
kind of
like Bran's like, we call them lords, but even their own people don't call them that. So maybe they don't have like that hierarchy. They're like, we're cool with the Starks because we're friends, but not like because we owe them everything.
Yeah, like I think they just don't have a lot to offer. So like I think Rob could call them, but it like just kind of like why would he just like, like it just wouldn't do much.
What do you mean they don't have a lot to offer? You know nothing about them.
No, like they don't have a lot to offer, but like I don't think they're like trained fighters.
Okay.
Like they can't.
Okay, so when he called his banners, he was looking for like trained soldiers, and these people are more like regular people.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess. I mean, there's regular people among all the soldiers. Like the soldiers are regular people. It's just that they leave their jobs to go fight.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyway, there is like some sort of like differentiation between these clans and the other houses.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not clear on what that is yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, I wonder if they know we're around. And Bran's like, they definitely know. And it kind of gives the vibes of like when John and everybody was like going through the Frostfangs and they were being watched, and you were like, they're definitely being watched, you know?
Yeah.
So kind of flashback moment for me for that.
Yeah.
And so one day they're going along, and then it starts freezing rain freezing. What is it that they call it? Hang on. Sudden burst of freezing rain. Yeah. So there's a sudden burst of freezing rain, and they're looking for shelter, and they find this little cave, and in it they find this guy who's like, come in, come hang out.
Hey, friends.
And it's like, what? A friendly person in all of this chaos? This is...
Who isn't like, hey, I gave you food, give me your boat? Like,
yeah.
This is weird. And then he leaves them food? It's
kind of like the Arya chapter where like people are finally like taking care of her, and we're like, what is happening over here? This is not okay.
And people aren't dying? Like, this is a weird... What's happening?
Yeah.
This is...
Like... Yeah, this guy doesn't like tell them his name or ask theirs, but he clearly seems to know who they are, and Bran can kind of tell from his like attire that he's a little, because he's got this like clasp in the shape of a
pine cone.
A pine cone, yes. So they're talking about like the good old days when there was a Stark in Winterfell, which is like a real like kind of almost like a mythological standing, you know?
Yeah, this is so sad.
Yeah, and we get kind of some news about what's going on. Like it looks like the Iron Men are still around, and the Flayed Men ride the King's Road asking after strangers. So they're paying good silver for wolfskin, and maybe gold for word of certain other walking dead. This is when he like looks at Bran and is like, yeah.
Just to let you know.
Yeah. And he also tells them news of the Wall, that it's not a great place to be because Mormont's not there, and he's taken most of the people with him, and all that's returned is a bunch of ravens without any messages, which is even more ominous than a raven ever is.
Okay, but like we sent a message, right?
Yeah, it says hardly a message between them. So they probably got a message like, there's a battle, and then just a bunch of ravens, you know?
Oh, okay. I think I read this wrong. I read it as there was not a message, and I was like, what? And then my brain went back to, I was like, Jaqen intercepted their message. And then I was like, but why? Like,
you still haven't decided what's with that bridge?
I don't know. You know, every time you say bridge, my brain goes bridge to Terabithia, which has nothing to do with this series. So no, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, so we hear news of that, and like this is like, okay, the Ravens got there, and that news of the Ravens has spread.
Right.
And then he's like, it was different when there was a Stark in Winterfell, but the old wolf's dead and the young one's gone south to play the Game of Thrones, and all that's left us is the ghosts. And Jojen's like, the wolves will come again.
Ugh.
And
dreamed it.
Yeah, but I'm like, Jojen has like prophetic dreams, so I hope like, it's true.
Right.
And it's not a I once had a dream kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they hang out with him during the night, and when they wake up in the morning, he's gone and has not turned them in. In fact, he's got like left them food and stuff.
This was so
and Bran's
sweet.
like, I'm gonna like keep this in mind, and one day there would be Starks in Winterfell again, and then he'd send for the littles and pay them back 100-fold for every nut and berry.
It's like the opposite of Arya's, where Arya's like, these are the people I'm gonna kill. This is like Bran's like, these are the people I'm gonna reward.
He's got his list of thank yous.
Yeah.
Instead of like a murder list, it's a thank you list or something.
Yeah. This is sad.
Yeah, so then they're like back on the road again, and they see an eagle, and Bran's like, oh, maybe I can warg into that eagle like I can with Summer. But he tries and doesn't succeed, so that's too bad. Aww. Then we get a reminder that Hodor is not Hodor's name. His name is actually Walder. Mm-hmm. But it's just like something he says, so everybody calls him Hodor. Mm-hmm. Any idea as to why?
I don't know.
We talked about this like way back in book 1.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, we haven't gotten any information, so it's fair. And then they start talking about old Nan, who's Hodor's like grandmother or great grandmother or something. Mm-hmm. And they recall that they didn't see her body at Winterfell. In fact, they didn't see any women or their bodies at Winterfell. So they're like, wonder what's going on. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I want her to be alive, but at the same time, I don't want her in the clutches of like, Ramsay, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
So
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Yeah, and Bran's like, oh my god, it's probably dead. And Mira's trying to reassure him. She's like, just remember old Nan's stories. Remember the way she told them, the sound of her voice. So long as you do that, part of her will always be alive in you. And I just like shed a little tear because it was like so sweet. Oh. That's true. Like, the people that die, like, they really only live on in other people's memories, you know?
Yeah. And this is also sweet because it's just like, you know, like, Bran's lost a lot, but it's like he's also like found these like siblings, kind of, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's just like nice that he can just like have these friends.
Yeah, he's got companions. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so more of the same, just like, why don't you tell me a story, Mira? And then they start telling this story. And okay, we'll just go kind of like section by section because this is like an 8-page long story or something. It's long. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Mira says there was one night. I don't know why I'm making it more. I'm making it more fairy tale like for some reason. There once was a night in the year of the false spring, the night of the laughing tree they called him. He might have been a Crannogman, that one, or not. Jojen added. And then they're like, oh, Bran, for sure you've heard the story, right? And Bran's like, no, I haven't. And besides, even if I had, old Nan said old stories are like old friends. You have to visit them from time to time.
So
Old Nan
sweet.
with this, with her
Oh my God.
golden quotes, honestly. So we're talking about this Cranningman, and let's just agree that this is Howland Reed.
Yeah.
Can we agree that, right? Okay. So instead of saying the Cranningman every time, we're just gonna say Howland Reed.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember. I couldn't remember his name, and I didn't have time to look up his name. And I'm just saying that because it's never actually named, but like, right? Yeah.
You know,
I just in my head, like, I just thought of it as like, oh yeah, Ned's friend and their dad. I was like, oh yeah, Mira's dad, Jojen's dad, but I was like, who is that? Who knows?
Yeah. So Howland Reed is like very like well versed. Look at me using WV words back to back. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back.
Slay.
Well versed
Literally
in the ways of the Cranningman, because like he knows, like they make it kind of seem like, you know, he knows almost magical. Bran's like, oh, did he have green dreams? And they're like, no, but he knew how to breathe under mud, walk on leaves, and change earth to water, and all of these things, which sound magical, but also are kind of like, also can be read as kind of like practical living skills. You know, I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's actually magic that they're alluding to, or if they're just like, he knows how to survive out there.
Yeah,
know?
Like he just had a lot of skills and people were just mesmerized. Yeah.
So anyway, he was living the life, but he wanted more. And one day when he had grown to manhood, I hate that word. When he was all grown, he decided he would leave the Crannigs and visit the Isle of Faces. And Bran's like, why would anybody visit the Isle of Faces? That's where the green men live. And Mira's like, yeah, that's why he wanted to visit the Isle.
Oh my God.
And Bran's like, oh, did he meet the green men? And Mira's like, yes, he did. But that's a story for another time. And I'm like, I want that story now.
Yeah.
Don't you want to hear that?
Yeah. I'm like, I want all the stories right now. We have a lot of time. Like, there's a lot of traveling to do. Come on.
Yeah. But yeah, so he like, and there's like this, in this story, there's this constant like kind of rivalry that is seen between the Cranningmen and the Freys. Like he has to like hide under the cover of night to get past the Freys, to get to the Isle and all of that stuff. And then later on they're being dicks to him and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So good to know that the Freys have just always been fraying.
Yeah.
So that whole winter, the Cranningman stays on the Isle, but then when the spring breaks, he's like, okay, the world's a callin', let's get going. Yep. And he gets back on his boat and starts rowing across the lake until he sees the greatest castle in the world, Harrenhal. We're back at it again. We really can't seem to get rid of Harrenhal, right?
I'm tired of Harrenhal.
Yeah.
Everyone has it. Everyone owns it. It's like, you know at the beginning of book 2, like the thing in the sky? It's like that.
Everybody's like, Harrenhal's mine.
Yeah, like everyone just doesn't shut up about Harrenhal. And I'm just like, calm down.
Well,
like,
it's an important set piece, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so a great tourney is about to take place, and there's champions from all over the place. The king himself is there with his son, the Dragon Prince. The white swords are there to welcome a new brother to their ranks.
Our favorite Jaime.
Jamie's our favorite now?
Well, I mean, we do like him. We've agreed that, you know, he's at least entertaining. As awful as he is, you know? Right. Yeah.
Okay. The Storm Lord is there. Who's that?
Oh, I don't know who that is. Stannis?
Robert.
What's
Baratheon.
Why is he the Storm Lord?
He's the Lord of the Stormlands.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't remember this. I just, like, to me, he's just the king, you know?
Well,
like,
this was before he was king.
Well, I get that, but I couldn't remember, like, what his, like, what he owned before he was king, you know?
Okay, well, it's the Stormlands.
Oh, okay, cool.
Remember his castle, Storm's End, that Stannis was real bitter over?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Anyway, so, and the Rose Lord is there. Who could that be?
I don't know.
Who has the rose as their sigil?
I don't know.
The Tyrells.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just had South, because I was like, I know it's one of the South people, I just couldn't remember who it was.
Alright, the great lion of the rock had quarreled with the king and stayed away, but many of his bannermen and knights attended all the same. So that's...
Whoa.
So
Jamie's
say it.
Dad.
Tywin. And
Tywin.
we know he'd quarreled because Jaime was being named Kingsguard, and Tywin wasn't having any of that.
Cersei strikes again.
So now this tourney. Do you remember hearing anything about this tourney?
I mean,
tourney
this
at
was
Harrenhal.
the tourney where, like, Rhaegar... Yeah, like, where Rhaegar won, and then he gave Lyanna the rose instead of his own, like wife, and then everyone was... And then like, we had, like, the Lyanna... And then we had, like, the Lyanna drama, and then we had, like, the, like... And then, like, because he did that, like, then Robert's Rebellion was, like, a direct result of this. Or, sorry, directly, like, because he was mad about Lyanna, right? So, like, it was directly due to this? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, pretty important tourney, this one.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure I haven't missed anything.
Yeah,
okay,
so we've heard about this tournament so much, but we still, like, know nothing about it every time. Like, it's
we find out a lot more now.
I know, but it's like every time they talk about it, it's like you think they've given you the story,
because a billion people were there, so like everybody's got like pieces of it, you know?
I know, but I wish there was just like a singer who could just sing us the story of the tourney, and then we're done.
Would the singer know all the perspectives?
Well, hopefully someone would give the singer all the perspectives.
Would someone giving the singer the perspectives have known all the perspectives? Like...
I get it, but still.
Okay, anyway.
We just need
let's just deal with what we have now. Like, there's already a lot to talk about, and this is just, like, one perspective. So, the tourney is being held in honor of the daughter of the castle, who, like, at the beginning of the tourney, she reigns as the queen of love and beauty, and she's got, like, 4 champions, and... 5 champions. 4 of them are her brothers.
Rose.
One of them is a Knight of the Kingsguard, who's her uncle. And she's a fair maid, but there were fairer still. One was the Dragon Prince's wife, who brought a dozen lady companions to attend her. And all the knights begged them for favors to tie about their lances. And Bran's like, oh, this isn't going to be one of those love stories, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Hodor here, he totally likes stories where the knights fight monsters. And Mira's like, sometimes the knights are the monsters, Bran. little
wisdom,
little
for
lesson
you
for you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So anyway, Howland Reed is just walking around enjoying the tourney, and when he comes upon 3 squires, and they call him Frog Eater and start beating on him, I think, right?
Yeah. But then
none offered a name, but he like took note of their faces because he was like, I'll get revenge on you. And then, so they're, bullying him and beating him up when they hear a roar. That's my father's man you're kicking, howled the she-wolf. A she-wolf on 2 legs. So, who's that?
Lyanna.
Yup. And she scares them off with a tourney sword and scatters them. And then she takes Howland Reed back to their tent or something, cleans his wounds and introduces him to her brothers. The wild wolf who led them.
Brandon.
The quiet wolf beside him.
Benjen.
No.
Eddard.
This is Ned.
Okay, I don't know between...
who was the youngest of the four.
Okay, I didn't know Benjen was young. Oh, wait, I did know that, because Ned got it.
You totally knew that.
Yeah. Whatever, I just didn't remember it. And then I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
wait,
this...
no! Wait, no! I had it written right. I had it labeled right. I just got it wrong when I just said it to you.
Okay. All right. So, okay, I believe you. You don't have to aggressively shove your book at the screen that nobody listening to the podcast can hear words.
Yeah. I just said it wrong, but when I was reading it, I knew.
Okay, so that evening there was going to be a big feast, and Liana insists that Howland Reed attend because he has just as much right as anybody else. Mm-hmm. And so they're feasting, and there's people are having a good time. The Dragon Prince, in his signature emo style, sings a song so sad it made the wolf maid sniffle. But when her pup brother teased her for crying, she poured wine over his head. Such an Arya move, too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, this story, if you haven't picked up on it, adds to the R plus L equals J theory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is like Lyanna and Rhaegar meeting and potentially something, you know?
Yeah. Because now she's like, wow, he's an emotional, lovely.
He's got
so
feelings.
Lovely. Yeah, he can sing.
He's not like other guys.
Oh my god. Honestly, can we
stop with that? Yeah.
Yeah. The bar is in hell. The bar's in hell. My friend texted me today and was gushing because a guy held the door open for her.
Oh.
See, your reaction just now.
No, my reaction is to your friend being good, that's sweet.
Good,
my reaction is not to somebody being
glad.
like, I held the door for you.
Yeah. But the thing was,
I'm heartbroken for your friend, thinking that that's something.
Yeah. But that was my first reaction too. My first reaction was, oh my god, oh. And then I thought about it.
No, that was not my first reaction at all.
Yeah, but see,
So when you're saying, can we stop, you're saying, can I please stop?
No, I'm not the only one. I would say that most people would have my reaction, not yours.
Holding a door open is not the act of bravery that people think it is.
Yeah, but it's sweet.
Sure, it can be sweet, but it's not.
No, I get that, but it's cute.
Can we get back to fantasy, please?
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so... Lyanna's like, wow, he's so emotional and he can sing. He's a catch.
Then there's a brother from the Night's Watch who's asking knights to join because we gotta have that.
The beginnings of Benjen. The beginning of Benjen's ambitions.
Oh yeah, I wonder if this is where Benjen was like, I'm gonna do that, because we don't really know when he joined or why he joined.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
The Stormlord drank down the Knight of Skulls and Kisses in a wine cup war. Wait, who's the Knight of Skulls and Kisses? I meant to look this up, but I totally forgot. Let me do that now.
Okay.
Please pause. Provide some elevator music, please.
This broadcast. We are interrupting this broadcast to bring to you an advertisement.
Advertisement?
Yes, advertisement.
Oh, it's some dude named Richard Lawnmouth, I don't know.
Okay. No.
I think that's just it.
We love a wine cup war.
He was just like somebody that
Who
Robert
drank.
hung out with.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Crannogman saw a maid with laughing purple eyes dance with a white sword, a red snake, the Lord of Griffins, and lastly, with the quiet wolf. But only after the wild wolf spoke to her on behalf of a brother too shy to leave his bench.
Aww.
So who's this maid with laughing purple eyes?
Okay, I don't understand, because purple's like Targaryens and like all of them.
But we've heard
who do
about
we
one
have?
other Lady Ashara Dane. Remember her?
Who is she?
Rumored to be John's mom.
She has purple eyes?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, the Danes have purple eyes.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So this is Lady Ashara Dane, and we know that she danced with a white sword, so one of the King's Guard.
Mm-hmm.
A red snake. Any guesses on who that is?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you can know. The Lord of Griffins, also, like, you don't know. But the Quiet Wolf, that could be... Yeah,
Our
so
friend
this
Ned.
probably started the rumors that they were into each other
wow.
and all of that.
That's so cute.
So maybe they were into each other? Because at this point, Brandon's still alive, so he's going to marry Catelyn, you know?
Yeah.
So that's, like, not even a thing. So maybe Ned and Ashara were, like, let's do this, you know?
Yeah. Aw, okay.
So while amidst all this merriment, the little Crannogman spied the 3 squires who'd attacked him. One served a pitchfork knight, one a porcupine, and the last attended a knight with 2 towers. And Bran's like, the phrase, I knew it. It's gotta be the phrase.
I always forget how much time he had to spend with the phrase, so he hates them probably more than we do.
Yeah, like he's got personal experience.
Yeah.
Whereas we're just like,
they suck,
you know,
but I don't
politically annoyed with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Lyanna sees them too, points them out to her brothers, and Benjen's like, oh yeah, Howland, I'll just get you some armor and stuff, and let's do this thing. You should totally show them. But Howland was like, yeah, but I don't know how to knight or fight or any of that thing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that like doesn't like turn out to be like, he's like, okay, sorry,
like,
I don't know how to fight.
Yeah. I'm just gonna embarrass myself. Like,
yeah,
we do boats, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. We sit a boat more often than a horse, and our hands are made for oars, not lances.
Yeah.
And Ned offers him a place to sleep in his tent that night, but Howland prefers to sleep on the lake shore, which, like, why wouldn't you, right?
Yeah.
And he prays to the old gods of the north and the neck. And once again, Georgian's like, you sure you never heard the story, Bran? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's, you know, jousting and tourneying and all of that stuff. And so it turns out by like the end of it, 3 of the 5 champions are the knights which the squires who bullied Howland served.
Yeah.
Okay, did that sentence
that
make
did
sense?
make sense.
There's a
yeah.
lot of,
It did make sense. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. And late on the afternoon of one of the days, a mystery knight appears in the list.
Oh my god.
And Bran's like, knew this was coming. Mystery knights are where it's at.
He's like, I know my story arcs.
Yeah. And he's like thinking back to like all the famous mystery knights. The Dragon Knight once won a tourney as the Knight of Tears, so he could name his sister the Queen of Love and Beauty in place of his king's mistress.
Wow.
This is Aemon Prince Aemon, the Dragon Knight. This is the one that Maester Aemon is named after.
Oh, okay.
And it's set, like, there's rumors that everybody, like, in the Targaryen line is actually descended from Aemon and his sister.
Oh.
Instead of the sister and her other brother, the king.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is some tea.
Drama.
It's giving, like, paved the way for the Lannisters.
No, but, like, anyway. So, Barristan the Bold, where's that dude at?
Oh, we don't even know.
Yeah.
All we know is he's no longer serving. He got
Mm-hmm.
pulled from his duties.
Yeah. So he twice donned a Mystery Knight's armor, the first time when he was only 10.
The fuck?
This dude is legendary.
Yeah.
I want him to, like, show back up again and, like, do some legendary shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, and then Bran's like, I bet the Mystery Knight was the Crannogman, obviously. And Mira's like, yeah, nobody knew, but the knight was short and had armor that didn't really fit, so it was all kind of like bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And the device upon his shield was a heart tree of the old gods, a white weirwood with a laughing red face. So, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever this knight was, the old gods gave strength to his arm, and he defeats all of the knights. And when the knights try to, like, ransom back their armor, the knight's like, I don't need money. I will take you reprimanding your squires.
Mm-hmm.
Teach your squires honor. That shall be ransom enough.
I wonder who would be like, honor above everything else.
Yeah, so they chastise their squires and get back their armor and horses and everything. And so the little Crannogman's prayer was answered. And who knows who answered it, but somebody did.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's finish the story and then we'll talk. Because I was trying to, like, that pause was me deciding whether I want to talk now or after.
Okay. All right.
So that night, the Stormlord and the Knight of Skulls and Kisses, like, really get into it. They're like, we're gonna unmask this Mystery Knight person. Mm-hmm. And even the king is like, that person is no friend of mine, so he must be unmasked. And, like, the king's got it out for him for some reason.
Yeah.
But the next day, the Knight of the Laughing Tree had vanished, and the king was so angry, he even sent his own son to look for the knight. But all they ever found was his painted shield hanging abandoned in a tree. And it was the Dragon Prince who won the tourney in the end.
Oh my god. And
Bran's like, oh, yeah, that was a good story, but, like, it didn't make narrative sense. Like, it should have been the squires who the Mystery Knight defeated, and also the part about the ransoms was stupid. And the Mystery Knight should win the tourney and then name the Wolf Maid the Queen of Love and Beauty.
And they're like, oh, well, like, that did happen. However,
but that's a sadder story.
Oh.
She says that.
I know, but it just hit.
Yeah, and then they're like, you sure you've never heard this tale before? And Bran's like, God. No, I haven't. Like, can we just, like,
can we
be
skip
okay
past
with
that?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bran's like, and then he, like, kind of off into his thoughts is like, oh my god, maybe I should visit the Isle of Faces. Maybe the green men could help me walk again, and even turn me into a knight. Even if it was only for a day. A day would be enough. Poor Bran.
This is so sad. Okay, but wait 1 second. I just need to clarify something. So Bran is a warg.
I think we've...
Yeah, you know, I'm getting there. That's not the part that I need to clarify. I'm just, that's the preliminary thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Jojen. What do we call what Jojen is?
Green Seer.
Oh, okay. But so
or no, actually, he says that he's not a green seer. He just has green dreams.
Okay.
There's like a green seer is like a level up, and then like a warg is a level up from that, I think.
Okay, because that was my question. Is I was like, okay, so like we know, because I vaguely remembered Jojen not being a green seer, but then I was like, it just felt like he did the same stuff that green seers did, so I was getting confused.
No, he just has green dreams. He doesn't have like any of the.
So what's green men versus green seers? Same thing?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think we've gotten a distinction yet.
Okay. Because so far we're just hearing everything's just green.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't know what's going on.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know what the difference between a green seer and a green man is.
Do you actually not know, or are you just not able to tell me?
I can't remember, to be honest.
Okay.
If, like, somebody wants to clarify that for me in, like, an email or on Discord, please go ahead and do that. If it's spoilery, don't just put it in the spoilers part, because I honestly can't remember. But I do know that Jojen is a green dreamer. Then there's green seers, and then there's wargs. That's kind of like the... I think there's a point... I can look into it. I'll look into it.
Okay.
But it's going to take longer than just searching up some guy's name.
Okay.
So, no elevator music or weird advertisements.
Okay.
Okay. So, you think the Knight of the Laughing Tree is Ned?
What's wrong with it being Ned?
Ned's, like, not short in stature, and he would probably have his own armor. Besides, there's a different person for whom it would make more sense to be the Knight of the Laughing Tree. Like, Bran seems convinced it was Howland, but Mira or Jojen never confirmed that, and I also don't think
I don't think it's Howland. Because Howland literally does not know how to fight. Like, that's not, that just doesn't make sense. Okay. I don't know. I just thought it was Ned, and that's why they were, like, besties now, you know? Like, that's why Howland's, like,
right, like, this story is, in part, like, the Starks are, like, righteous people, will fight for their, you know, people kind of people. And, like,
the whole thing about, like, honor, I was like, clearly this is Ned.
Okay.
And he's just using different armor because he doesn't want to be caught.
The theory to which I subscribe is that the Knight of the Laughing Tree is Lyanna.
Oh shit! Oh shit, that makes so much sense.
Doesn't it?
It does. I am just sexist, apparently. These books have made me sexist. I hate that I was just like, it can't be her, but of course it's her.
Yeah.
I hate myself.
It's okay, but I was so thrown when you said it was Ned, and I was like, what? Why? Where did you get Ned?
That makes so much more sense. I just don't expect a girl to do anything in these books, so I just wouldn't have got, like, do you know what I mean? But I hate that.
Okay, well, you go ahead and examine that on your own time, and we're gonna examine this story. So, the Knight of the Laughing Tree is Lyanna, because she's like, I'm gonna get these bitches, you know? Because she's a Stark, she's all about that honor. We saw her, like, already stand up for Howland Reed, and the only way she would be allowed to compete in the tourney is as a mystery knight, you know?
Yeah.
All of that. And she fits, like, the physical description, and it makes sense that she wouldn't have her own armor and all of that. But we also know that she is pretty good at, like, horse riding and that kind of, like, at kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know if we know that she was, like, a fighter, but, like, we definitely know that she was a good rider.
Yeah.
And we know that Arya is often compared to her, so we kind of, like, can draw some conclusions there. So, all of that. Okay, now, to add to R plus L equals J, The part where did it go? Where the king is mad that the Knight of Laughing Tree has vanished and sends the Dragon Prince to go find him.
Mm-hmm.
The theory is that he found her, unmasked her, found out it was Lyanna, immediately fell in love with her, and then was like, okay, I'm gonna name you Queen of Love and Beauty.
Oh my god. Damn.
Like, why else would he have reason to do that? Like, right, other than just, like, her face, like...
just, like, her face. Right. Oh my god. Huh.
Right? Isn't that, like, more of a story you want to hear?
Yeah, that's so much cooler than fucking... Yeah. That's a slay! Okay,
so... there's, like, suggestions. So, like, what we've heard from, like, Robert mostly is that Rhaegar stole Lyanna, raped her, and then killed her. We have suspicions that Jon is Lyanna and Rhaegar's kid. And now this adds some kind of, like actual romance to the...
Yeah, it's not just,
story.
like... Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you think of that?
I like that. That's a cute little, like, it's a nice...
That's the world of Ice and Fire I want to live in, you know?
Yeah, like...
Then, like, it ends up starting a war, so...
Yeah, but we like to live in the pre-war part. This is, like, a nice little, like, aw, good things, you know? Like, just, like, love and, like, you know? Like, it's just nice.
Yeah. Except the dude was married at this point and totally went ahead and snubbed his wife.
Hey, we gotta take the wins where we can get the wins.
It doesn't say it here, but I think his wife was pregnant at this point.
Why can't a good thing ever be a good thing? Sorry, what's her name? I forget.
Elia Martell.
Sorry, Elia. Sorry, girly. You didn't deserve this.
Okay, but now, also, remember, so this thread of, like, R plus L equals J gets picked up after that Dany chapter in the last book, in the House of the Undying.
Yeah.
That was kind of, like, the last time where we got some, like, indications towards this. And remember, Dany has that vision where she sees Rhaegar and Elia, like, with their kid who's just been born, and he names him Aegon, and is like, his is the Song of Ice and Fire, and the dragon has 3 heads and all of that shit.
Yeah.
The dragon has 3 heads, there must be one more, and we kind of theorized that potentially that means that, so now at that point he's got 2 kids, so he's like, I've got to get 3 kids, so maybe he's out on the hunt for another partner so that he can get a third kid.
And his third kid's Jon!
Potentially.
Huh. Wait, but why couldn't he just have a third kid with his wife?
I don't know, I don't think we know.
Okay.
But anyway, so
cool.
There's some threads joined on the, can you see my murder
I can see your little map. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. Huh.
Okay, cool. Oh, this is a good story. I love this story.
This is really cool.
And I just love, like, the kind of fantastical way in which it's told.
I just love them constantly being like, no way you don't know this.
Yeah. Because, you would think, but Ned, since he was so secretive about all of this, that
he wouldn't. Yeah. He's like, they can't ever be able to know that happened.
Okay, so let's move on to Davos. Oh my god, we're an hour into this and we haven't only talked about one chapter. I was so, like, okay, whatever. Let's not waste time talking about how much time we wasted. So, Davos. He is in a cell under Dragonstone. It's hella hot. He was really sick, but they nursed him back to health. So he's like, oh, they want to keep me alive. And he's got these 2 jailers who he's named Porridge and Lamprey for like the meals they bring him. And they don't talk to him, and he's lonely.
And he tries to talk to them because he needs to hear something other than silence sometimes. They don't listen.
And he likes Porridge better because he's kinder. But he's like, he might be too kind. I think he's feeding the rats that are dwelling in this place.
Oh my god.
And then he's like, oh man, I should have died in the sea. I would rather feed the crabs than the flames, but here I am now.
Yep.
I may burn. Who knows?
Yep. And Melisandre's here.
Yep. You predicted this, so good for you.
Yeah.
Why are you not more excited about that?
Because I feel like, duh. Like, what else was gonna happen? Like, they were gonna, like, that was barely a prediction. That was just kind of like
Take the win.
Okay. Alright. She shows up and she's like, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything?
Yeah, how's this torch here? It's the manifestation of the Lord of the Light. It's the only thing that stands between you and darkness. This little fire, this gift of R'hllor.
Come on, Miss Girl, like.
And she's like, oh, should I get rid of it? Is that what you want? And he has to be like, no, I don't want that. And Davos is Melisandre's like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll hang on to it for now. No, actually, she doesn't say that yet. So she's like, I'm like this torch, Sir Davos. We're both instruments of R'hllor. We were made for a single purpose, to keep the darkness at bay. Do you think she believes this stuff, or is this like kind of...
I think she believes it.
You know what? I think so too.
I think that to be this dramatic about something, you gotta believe it.
And Davos is again like, you're no instrument of light. I saw you birth a shadow. And then she brings that whole shadows only come alive when given birth by light, dude. Which is like a real weird justification, but she's used it before, so whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's like, besides, the king's fires burn so low, I dare not draw off any more to make another son. It might well kill him.
Damn.
So that's not good.
Stanny the Manny is dying.
So these shadows, we kind of saw that Stannis wasn't looking too good, but like now it's like,
the
oh my
life
God.
out of him.
Mm-hmm, literally.
You know what's funny?
What?
It's fucking the life out of him. That's what's happening. We haven't gotten
confirmation of that, but we're pretty sure of that.
Like, that's so funny. Especially since it's Stannis, it's just kind of funny.
That's good. Okay. Anyway, so she's like, although, with another man, a man whose flames still burn hot and high.
Oh my God.
It's like such a weird...
This was so weird. It's giving...
Like, imagine pulling up... Like, imagine this being your pickup line. Like, hey there, you flame. It burns so hot and high. I can feel it from way across the room.
I can't. I'm sure people have used this. I'm sure people read this and were like, this is how you pick people up. Let's go.
If you truly wish to serve your king's cause, she's like, adding this weird, like, guilt servitude thing. Yep. Come to my chamber one night. I could give you pleasure such as you've never known, and with your life fire, I could make a horror, Davos says. And
oh my God.
She's like, get the fuck away. He's like, well, get the fuck away from me. I don't want anything from you or your god. May the Seven protect me. Mm-hmm. And Melisandre is like, they didn't protect any of the others, so why you gotta cling to them?
Mm-hmm.
And just this whole thing, like, open your eyes. Don't you see there is a war, death and life? And he's like, war? What are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, there's two. And this is really vague, but I'll kind of clarify. She's like, there are 2, not 7, not 1, not 100 or 1,000, like 2 gods. And the one is R'hllor, the Lord of Light, the Heart of Fire, the God of Flame and Shadow.
Wow.
Against him stands the great other, whose name may not be spoken, the Lord of Darkness, the Soul of Ice, the God of Night and Terror.
Wow.
And she's like, do you think I crossed half the freaking world to put yet another vain king on yet another empty throne? No, I did this because Stannis is all that stands between us and the great other.
This is so concerning. Of all people, Stannis is prophesized.
Yeah, so she apparently is like she's not just, this seems like kind of weirdly genuine, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she's not just playing Stannis, she actually believes he's the savior.
Yeah, this threw me for a loop. I was like, of all people, Stannis?
Right?
Like, dear Lord, like, at that point, like, we're screwed either way, you know? Like, choose your battles.
Yeah, so,
So Stannis is Azor Ahai reborn, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, what's in your heart, dude? And he's like, my heart is full of doubts. And she's kind of like, you know what? It's good that you didn't lie to me, because I can suss out those lies thanks to my Lord and Savior, R'hllor.
Oh my god.
And
I can also see the future,
like,
by the way.
Yeah. She asks him, why did you want to kill me? And he says, I'll tell you that if you tell me who betrayed me. And he's like really anxious that it's gonna be his friend Salador San, and he's like, oh my god, don't let that be it. Aww. And she's like, nobody had to tell me. I saw your purpose in my flames.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah, and he's like, but if you can see the future, why didn't you stop the disaster at the Blackwater? And she's like, yeah, well, I wasn't there, was I? And all these people were standing against me, and it's not my fault. If I'd been there, the tide would have turned a different side. So, yeah.
I didn't do anything because I want the credit for what I do. I don't fix problems that I didn't make.
Yeah, and she's like, this is where she goes on her, like, Stannis is the one, he is the Lord's chosen, the warrior of fire. I have seen him leading the fight against the dark. I have seen it in the flames. Okay, so is Stannis the one? Like, her flames seem to, like, be legit.
Apparently. I don't like that.
Yeah, so her, like prophecy justification, like prophesized evidence for this is, the prophecy is, when the red star bleeds and the darkness gathers, Azor Ahai shall be born again amidst smoke and salt to wake dragons out of stone. And since the bleeding star has come and gone, and Dragonstone is a place of smoke and salt, therefore Stannis is Azor Ahai reborn. Which I feel like this is a clear description of Daenerys.
Yeah. Like, girl, you got the wrong person.
You know?
Yeah. Like, can you, like, I'm thinking about the technicalities of this fire. I'm like, is it, like, visualization? Or is it, like, you get the details and she's thinking of who she thinks is? Do you know what I mean? Like, is this, like, she's using the...
like, seeing her flames, like, is it up to interpretation?
Yeah. Because if
I
it
would
is...
say probably.
Because if it is, she's reading the flames wrong. Like, we gotta go back to kindergarten for flame reading. Like,
so you think... Okay, I think this description says Dany. So does that mean that Dany's the savior?
I mean, she's the Targaryen savior. She's single-handedly...
Like, savior of the Targaryen lineage?
Yeah.
Kind
like,
of thing?
Yeah.
But Melisandre's talking about,
like, against the Lord of Darkness.
Yeah, but she seems to kind of be, like, pinpointing the actual problem in this world, which is the impeding, like, end of the world due to the others and all of that stuff. Yep. She seems like, the great other and the ice and all of that sounds pretty much like the others.
Yeah.
So she seems to have hit that closer to on the nail more than anybody else.
Yep.
So she's talking about that big, actual, battle war thing. Mm-hmm. Then what role does Dany play in that?
I mean, Dany's dragons.
That's true.
So I feel like it's kind of like with her dragons and like north versus south type vibes. Like it just, I don't know, like the dragons,
Okay.
I don't know if it's like a war or like how it's gonna go down just yet, because I don't know, but it definitely feels like of all the people and of all the people's or of all the people who proclaim themselves king, like she's kind of the one who actually kind of has this power to like physically do something.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, she's basically like, I can tell you don't believe me. You doubt the truth of your lore even now, yet you have served him all the same and will serve him again. And then she's like, and because R'hllor is the source of all the good, I guess I'll leave this torture for you. And then she smiles and swirls and is on her way.
What the fuck?
And Davos is just left thinking, like, I've served him and will serve him again? Like, what?
Yeah. No.
But I guess if she believes that Stannis is R'hllor's instrument,
then he's been serving him for a while.
Served.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's gonna until he dies.
Yeah, and even like more literally, he's also just served him like in
with the boat and the
yeah, exactly, like all the Melisandre stuff. He has been serving him, and like he didn't do anything when he saw the Maester die. Like he kind of has served him.
Yeah. So that's cool. And Davos is just kind of left to ponder all of that.
He tries to read the flames.
Read the flames, and all he can see is nothing.
That was kind of funny, but a little sad.
Yeah. So anyway, some days pass, and then he hears some voices, and this is like a new thing for him. Mm-hmm. And it's some guy being dragged to the cellar. And it's he's like, oh, let me go. I'm not a traitor. I didn't do anything. Like, where's the queen? Let me go talk to her, all of that. But the guards just kind of ignore him and then push him into the same cell as Davos and leave them to get to know each other,
He's like, I'm the king's hand. He's like, oh, yeah. Alistair Florent.
Yeah, this is when Davos is like, oh, that dude here? What are you doing here? And at first he's like, Davos Seaworth? And he's really disgusted with like the cell, and he's like, there's a bucket.
There's a smell.
And the straw bed. Like, what?
Oh my god. Like,
and then he's like lamenting all like, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so disheveled. I lost all my stuff in the battle. Yeah,
but war has its
except
horrors.
For my rings. Yeah. And Davos is like, he still wears those rings. Who noted Davos, who had lacked even all of his fingers. And he's like, oh my god, yeah, I lost a bunch of stuff. War has its horrors. I'm sure you suffered your own losses. And then Davos is like, yeah, everything. I lost 4 sons.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I lost my clothes. Those are my horrors. Which is, like...
He did lose his nephew, who led them into the battle and got so many of them killed.
Yeah.
And Davos is like, I ain't forgetting that dude.
Oh my god.
So they talk about the battle and all of that, and Alistair, right? Is it? Alistair, yeah, sorry. Alistair is like, yeah, we lost the war that day, and Davos is like, what?
What do you mean?
This guy. You know that his grace is never gonna yield. And Alistair is like, yeah, but that's stupid. His fleet is gone except for Salador San, and he's gonna flee at the first sight of Lannisters. So I was just trying to help him,
Oh my
and
God.
Davos is like, what about all the Lords of the Narrow Sea? And we hear about all these guys that are like either dead or captured or
Killed by
pledged guilty to
Melisandre.
somebody else or something. Yeah.
Yep.
All of the things. And Davos is like, okay, so what did you do? Why are you here? What are you in for? And so this is where we learn that he wrote a letter that he was going to get Salador San to like smuggle into King's Landing directly to Tywin.
Yeah.
And he wrote this letter offering for Stannis to give up his claim to the Iron Throne, to retract all that he said about Joffrey and his bastardy, and
he would do all of this,
but on the condition that they be be treated fairly and can still be the Lord of Dragonstone and Storm's End. And I vowed to do the same. This is like Alistair saying that I would do the same if you let me get my land and stuff back. And I offer to seal this bargain by wedding Shireen to Tommen, which
oh my God. These people need to stop with the wedding proposals.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm sure that Tywin would have accepted this, and Davos is like, I bet, because unless Stannis has a son, all of this stuff is going to pass down to the Lannisters eventually anyway. So of course Tywin would want that.
Then their claim would actually be legitimate. Like,
yeah. And besides, they would have Shireen as a hostage so that Stannis wouldn't be able to do anything ever again. So obviously Stannis is going to be mad about this letter.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. And they're just, he's like, Davos asks him, what did his grace say when you proposed these terms to him? And he's like, oh, he's always locked up. I speak with his words anyway. It doesn't matter.
Oh my God.
He's mad anyway. He's talking of a stone dragon. Like, what's all that about? Because we know, like, Dany's stone dragons are those dragon eggs that were stone.
Yep.
What stone dragon have they got?
Maybe the shadow can do something. Maybe we birth a stone dragon to rival Dany's stone dragons.
Yeah, and he like brings up all like the Aryan Brightfire, the dude that drank wildfire trying to become a dragon, the 9 mages, the alchemists, and then there's this, like, did we learn nothing from Summerhall? No good has ever come from these dreams of dragons. Is this the first time we've heard about Summerhall?
I don't know what Summerhall is.
Okay. You're not gonna know what Summerhall is for a very long time.
Okay.
But there's this weird illusion of, like, dreams of dragons, bad things at Summerhall,
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Just keep that in, like, a back wall somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah, and Davos is like, yeah, but Stannis is not going to yield as long as he knows his claim is right, and he's not going to take back his statements about Joffrey because he knows they're true.
Yeah. And
you think he's going to marry his daughter to another incest baby? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's crazy. This man really thought
Florence,
this would work.
Florence, but he has no choice. And Davos is like, yeah, he does. He can choose to die a king.
Yeah.
And Florence just like, well, he's gonna take all of us with him. Is that it?
He's like,
and Davos is like, yeah, I don't want to die, but I am his man, and I will make no peace without his leave. And the dude just starts to cry. That's the end of the chapter.
Oh my God.
So yeah. Did we have anything else to talk about with this chapter?
I think we covered everything. I don't think we skipped anything.
That was so well done. I'm so proud of myself. Did you see how I just skipped past the first 4 pages?
As you should. That was nice.
Yeah, because they said nothing worth saying again. Like if you already read the book,
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't talk about any predictions with Bran or Davos. Let's do it. First with Bran. What's gonna happen?
Bran's gonna be like, can we go see the Green Man? And Jojen's gonna be like, no, we're training you with the crow. So they're gonna keep going on the journey.
Okay. Are they gonna find Jon? Because Jon's now kind of closer to the wall.
Ooh, I don't think they're gonna find Jon. At least not yet.
Okay. Davos, what's gonna happen with him? And this dude, Florent.
Florent's definitely gonna die. They're not gonna feed him.
They're not gonna burn him?
Oh, they could burn. I mean, I guess, yeah, they could go burn him, right? Because that's what they've been doing. Yeah, they can go burn him, whatever. And then Davos.
We might actually get somebody who dies in a chapter.
Whoa, what a shocker. Also, I realized, I think we did have one death. The Sundance person. Because we didn't know about that death before.
A Sundance person? Oh, the person that, Melisandre burned. Okay, yeah.
We had one death. Wow, okay. But yeah, cool. So I think with Davos, like,
But we did know that Melisandre was just around burning people, so, like...
Okay, true. Okay, yes, 0 deaths. We're back at 0. So I think Davos, okay, so Davos is... Now we kind of know why Davos is being kept alive. So it's kind of like...
Because they believe he has another purpose to serve.
Mm-hmm. So
what are they going to give him a purpose? Like, what's going to happen? Like, give me some deets.
I don't know some deets. I think, because, like, he can smuggle stuff if they need him to do stuff. He can, like, not that he has to, but if they, like, need him to talk to Stannis about something, like, he can talk to Stannis. And also, now there's this whole business with his life. Like his like life force. Fire and like being having strength and like determination in that way. So I think like Melisandre could be like, I'm gonna kill your family if you don't do this and give me your power. Like, okay, you know, like there's a lot she could do with him depending on what's needed. So she's keeping him.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that's it. Let's move on to Jon and finish this up. So, Jon, let me get there. I'm like I like flipped so many pages. I had to like find my way back.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Jon's going up the hill.
Yeah, they're close to the wall, and he is talking to Ghost because they're about to hang on. They're about to go over the wall, and there's no way that he can bring a wolf like, you know, climb up with a wolf and down and all of that stuff. So
why can't the wolf just run and then jump over?
He has to say goodbye to Wolf. He like sits him down and is like, you have to go to Castle Black. Do you understand? Castle Black. Can you find it? The way home? Just follow the ice, east and east, into the sun, and you'll find it. They will know you at Castle Black, and maybe your coming will warm them. And then he'd like thought about writing a little message and like tying it to Ghost, but he's like, first off, I have no ink or parchment, but also if I get caught, we all dead, so let's not do that. And he's like, I will meet you again at Castle Black, but you have to get there by yourself. We must each hunt alone for a time. Alone.
I hate these books. These books are the worst.
Breaks away and then runs off in the distance, and Jon's like, oh, I wonder if he will be there.
Yeah, he's probably mad at you.
Ghost understood?
He's probably mad. Yes!
So Ghost for sure understood.
Yes.
And he's going to Castle Black.
Well, right now he's just mad, so he's like sulking. And then eventually he'll go to Castle Black.
Will they reunite at Castle Black?
I hope so.
And then also, like, Ghost is, like, his last connection to home, to the Starks, to the Watch, so he's, like, really letting that go now, and he's, like, full-on immersing himself in the free folk ways.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's, like, the major event, really. Like, there's the sex, but, like, this is the major event in the chapter.
Yeah.
And then he's, like, thinking about, like, all their...
He's like, we'll look up at the same stars and see such different things.
Yeah. And he's thinking about, having had sex with her for the first time, and then he was like, I told myself that would be the only time.
Mm-hmm.
But that same night they did it twice more, and then once more in the morning, and it was
not the only time.
Yeah. And like Jarl or somebody, like that morning they're going at it and everybody can tell what's happening, and Jarl's like, just get it over with before I throw a pail of cold water over you.
Oh my god.
They're just so casual about it, but I also love it.
It's
I'm a man of the night's watch, a small voice inside insisted, but every night it seemed a little fainter.
Oh. And there's all this weird trauma coming out where every time he's also like, oh, this is probably why my dad did it. This is probably why my dad had me.
Yeah.
Like, there's all this
Am I
weird
gonna
trauma.
have a bastard, and will that be a thing? Like, all the guilt. And
it's so terrible.
It's terrible, but he's a teenager and he's horny.
No.
So
it's terrible the way he's thinking about it. Like, it's terrible that he can't just be like, ooh, you know?
Like, he can't be like, what?
Ooh, like, I don't...
Sorry, I took off my headphone for a second and I wasn't sure what sound you made.
Oh my god. Like, it's just, I feel bad for him. Like, I'm sorry, John. But yeah, it's like this constant, like, ooh, I'm enjoying this, but like, oh no, I'm feeling guilty, but like, why shouldn't I enjoy it?
He's feeling less and less guilty every time, though. So.
I know, but it's still, the guilt is still coming back, like, every time.
Yeah. Anyway, so he gets summoned by the Magnar, and he goes to this cave that they've, like, found, and it's not just a cave, it's like a network of caves, and there's, like, a whole lore behind it that we'll get to in a second. But the Magnar summons him and is like, it's the Magnar and Jarl are there. Jarl is, Mance Rayder called him a pet of Val, who was sister to Dalla, his own queen, which made Jarl a sort of good brother once removed to the king beyond the wall. He's Val's boyfriend, and Val is kind of Mance's sister-in-law, so...
Yeah.
So Jarl and Magnar, what's the Magnar's name?
Stir.
Magnar Stir. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they're in charge. So, but the Magnar likes to pretend that he's really the one in charge. So he's like, okay, tell me about the patrols and everything. Like, what are we dealing with here?
Yeah. And
John's like, well, there's usually like 4 people, 2 builders, 2 rangers, and most of the time they ride meals on the top of the wall, but sometimes they ride near the foundation looking for weaknesses. And there used to be regular patrols out here, but now there's not as many people, so the Lord Commander kind of like varies when the patrols go out, so we can't really predict them. And all of that. And we hear about the story of like this arson ice axe guy who was tunneling through the wall. So when the Night's Watch came across his tunnel, instead of like, what did they say? They did not trouble to disturb him at his digging, only sealed away behind with ice and stone and snow.
Oh my god.
And Dolorous Ed used to say that if you pressed your ear flat to the wall, you could still hear him chipping away with his axe. Which
that's terrifying.
So that's like the gist of it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, so our Stone Door and Greyguard, these castles, are they manned? And John's like, oh, so that's where we are. Like he's making note of it.
Yeah. And
how many people are on the wall, and he like adds a few hundred people to the count, and he's thinking to himself, like, if only it were that easy to actually add people.
Yeah. And Jarl's
but they can tell
like,
he's lying.
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, and Jarl's like, been there a bunch of times, right? So he's probably like, nah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he's lying, or else including those they lost on the fist. So yeah, so they're like, we're not buying it, but he's like, okay, you don't have to buy.
Yeah, then we kind of hear about the Fens a little bit, who like,
they're like the most disciplined of the free folk.
Yeah.
And to the Thens, their Magnar is more like a god than a person. And he commands absolute obedience from his people. Yeah. And that's why they are on this mission.
Yeah, and they're very much like fighters, and they claim to be the last of the first men.
Everybody's the last of the first men.
I know. I feel like we constantly
Or I guess they're like the first men and everybody else is like descended from the first men. I don't know. Whatever. They're something. They do something. Yeah.
And then he's like kind of looking for Ygritte, and he's like, "Oh, where is she?"
And somebody points him down like a tunnel and he like follows it, and then there's like a waterfall and she's like getting naked and he's like getting turned on, because usually they don't even like, it's dark or
they're like
they
under
do
the
it
covers.
undercover, so they don't,
they're more focused on like just doing it than like appreciating what they look like and like actually seeing that.
Yeah. So they get their groove on and they're talking about Gorn's way, like that's the tunnels. Yeah. Gorn was a king beyond the wall that led the free folk through the caves past the wall. But then Winterfell found out, and then the Night's Watch found out, and like all the other bannermen of the North found out, and they just had him surrounded, so he had to retreat. And I think Gorn dies, but his brother Gendel is the one who retreats, but he doesn't know the tunnels very well, or not as well as his brother. Yeah. So him and his people get lost in the tunnels, and it's said that there's still, like, their descendants still dwell in the tunnel somewhere.
That's terrifying. Maybe we'll meet them.
Yeah. Gendel's folk were never seen again, but on a still night you can hear their children's children's children sobbing under the hills, still looking for the way back up.
Oh my god.
And John's like, oh, is the way still like is the way under the wall still accessible? And they're like, well, she's like, yeah, some people have searched for it, but the ones that go too deep find Gendel's children, and Gendel's children are always hungry.
Oh my god. Sounds like me, hungry and crying all the time. This is me. I identify as a Gendel's child.
Yeah. So I think this is when they like finally have sex, and they discover oral sex, which is like, oh my god. Like, seriously, like, you're telling me that the free folk don't know all the ways?
Yeah.
When they're, like, the most sex positive of anybody on this planet, literally.
Yeah.
But whatever. And then later on, they're, like, pillow talking, you know? And
we need to make a counter of you know nothing, Jon Snow, because I swear I read like 11 of them in this chapter.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. So
she's
many.
Like, you knew nothing, Jon. I taught you. You're learning, though.
Yeah, there's so much. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Jon's like, oh, I was a man of the Night's Watch, and then he hears himself say was, and he's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's teasing him and like, oh, you were a maid. And he's like, were you a maid? And her response to that is like, have you seen me, dude? Like,
oh my god. Yep.
Like, I'm desirable.
Oh my god.
And then we hear about her first experience with this kid like 5 years ago. But he was weak, and when he tried, because like their tradition is like you gotta steal the girl or whatever. Yeah. When he came back to try and steal me, Longspear broke his arm and ran him off, and he never tried again, not even once. That sucker. And Jon's like, oh, I'm glad it wasn't Longspear. And she's like, what? That's vile. Would you bed your sister? And I like silently laughed to myself, because like if he's a Targaryen, then that's like literally his legacy.
That's true. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then we learn like even though Longspear's not like her brother, he's of her village, and because of like genetic what's the word?
Similarities,
but also just like trying to diversify the genetic pool. They try to get with people from faraway villages, or she says women who bed brothers or fathers or clankin offend the gods and are cursed with weak and sickly children, even monsters.
I mean,
and John's like,
checks out.
Crasterwood's his daughters, and she's like, Craster's one of your people. He's not one of ours. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my god.
And then she's like, you didn't even know what to do with me after you stole me. And John's like, I didn't steal you. She's like, you totally did. And I tried to like give you all the hints with like the tale of Bale the Bard and everything, but you knew nothing, Jon Snow.
Oh my god.
And they have some more sex, and then John's like, if this is so wrong, why did the gods make it feel so good?
Oh my god. I swear we've heard this. I swear we've heard Jamie say that exact same line.
Pretend probably.
Like
maybe
something like about like them being together. Like, oh, why would we be so perfect for each other if?
Yeah, why does it feel so right if it's so wrong? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they have some more sex, and then they're it ends with just them talking about how she's like, I don't ever want to leave this cave, Jon Snow. No, not ever. Let's just stay here. And there's like a pool, and that's fun. But there's no light, no food, so they can't really. But, you know, it's a nice fantasy.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
So that's the chapter. Anything to add before we talk predictions? Like anything we missed or skimmed over that you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so. This chapter was pretty much just them getting it on. His little monologue was cute. Like when they finally kind of saw each other, and he was just like, I know I want you. I love the smell of you. Like, that was cute. But like, that was kind of everything. But like that... Also, I think it just weirded me out. He was like, yeah, we probably had sex like 50 times, but I've never really seen her until now. I was like, okay, go off, I guess. Like, that's insane, but...
Yeah. But they might be catching some feels, I don't know.
Just maybe. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
That's gonna make, like... being a man of the Night's Watch pretty hard.
Yeah, definitely. And also just like, I don't know, like they're just so different.
And didn't Maester Aemon say the love is the end of all duty or something?
Yeah. And it's just like, there's just so many things that they like don't see eye to eye on. Like, I'm just like, how long can this possibly work without one of them like either switching up or, you know? Because he's gonna be like, eventually he's gonna be like, this is my chance to escape and like help the Night's Watch, and then Ygritte's gonna be like, I thought you'd changed, because even in this chapter at one point she was like, oh, I used to think you'd do that, you know, like when she's talking about the Craster stuff, she was like, oh, I used to think you'd be like that too, but it's like, oh, well, he kind of still is like that, so it's kind of like, it's like they both are kind of, yeah, they're together like in this moment, but it's giving like COVID couple where they haven't seen each other like in any other environment. It's just, you know, like I guess I'm just scared for their eventual downfall.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun. Okay. So how's this climbing the wall business gonna go?
I don't know, bro. I'm scared. It'll probably go well for the like free folk, which isn't good for us. So we'll see.
Okay, so they'll all make it across, and it'll be cool, and then they're gonna attack, and that won't be so cool.
Yeah.
All right. When will Jon and Ghost reunite?
Years.
Really?
Well, maybe like months.
Okay. I don't know. That is a sad part.
Yeah.
That's why I rushed over it, because I don't want to think about it and it makes me sad. Okay. So there's heartbreak for them in the future for sure. And wall climbing. They'll get their exercise on. Okay, cool. Got it. Let's talk next chapters.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna probably regret it, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
I'm scared.
We're gonna read 3 chapters next time.
Again.
And can I? Oh, I know. But can you just make a note to give yourself time for these? Overall, like, the length is similar to what we read today. But the content is denser.
Why would we do 3 then?
Because it makes sense. It just does.
Today's episode is already almost 2 hours, and that's only because we, like, skimmed the second and third one.
We can skim some things next time.
We have to.
I don't want to slow down.
I know, but I'm not editing a 3-hour episode next time.
We'll keep it under 2.
Okay. Can we keep it under 2? I need you to be realistic.
Okay, let me, like, really think about it. Hang on.
Like...
Okay, hang on. Fine, let's do 2. I really want to do 3. Okay, let me just take a look at the ones after that. Real quick. Just real quick.
All right.
Cause, see, then, like... Then we would do... Then we would kind of want to... Oh. Damn it.
What happened?
Fine, let's do 2 next time.
Does it work after, though? Because if it messes up after...
Then I would want to do 4 chapters after that.
Okay, then maybe let's do 3 and 3. If you're... We cannot do 4. We don't have time to do 4.
Let's do 3 and 3. You know what? It's fun. We got this. Like, today, look at how few details I dwelled on.
Okay, but we also spent like an hour and 10 minutes on one chapter, so we can't do that next time.
We'll have 1 chapter like that, but we won't have all 3 chapters like that.
But then, are you willing to make the other ones like 20 minutes? Because if we...
Half an hour. One of them can be 20. The other has to be at least half an hour.
That's exactly 2 hours. 20, and then let's say 40, and then 1 hour. Are you okay with that?
Let's do 2. Let's do 2. Fine. We're doing 2. Everybody, the reason we're going so slow, it's our fault. Okay. Next time, we're reading 2 chapters. Tell me what you want to read and why.
We can do 3 over the summer. Think about it. We can do so much over the summer.
Yeah, the chapters are not going to get less dense.
Yeah, but we're going to have time to absorb in the summer.
Okay, whatever. Chapters 27, 28. What are we reading? Tell me your predictions.
Let's do Catelyn and Sansa.
Okay. Chapter 27 is Daenerys.
Again?
Mm-hmm.
Girl, she never makes a back-to-back.
Well, it's not a back-to-back. It's a back-to-back-to-back, kind of.
Oh, you know what? It's because we just... Okay, because last weekend, we read the Dany chapter and recorded it, and then I edited it literally a few days ago, so it feels like we just read Dany. Okay, but still, this is a weird... Huh. Okay, so Dany is,
was trying to figure out a way to buy them unsullied.
She's gonna buy them and run away. Just kidding.
Using what?
I don't know. Oh yeah, because I'd said, it'll be like an IOU, but we'll stay here until we can get the money. So they're gonna message Illyrio and be like, hey bestie, send me an e-transfer. And then he's gonna e-transfer them.
Most of our audience is American. They don't know what an e-transfer is.
They're gonna... Venmo. Yeah, that's what the Americans know. Yeah, so Illyrio's gonna Venmo them.
Okay,
or Cash App them. No.
Sorry, that's so ridiculous. American banking is so ridiculous. Okay. I'm learning about it in economics, so I know.
Wow.
Trust me.
Now that we've mocked most of our audience.
Yes, it's fine. They probably know how ridiculous it is too. What were we talking about? Okay, so Daenerys. Then chapter 28 is Sansa.
Oh my god. Okay, I was kind of right.
Yeah.
Sansa's getting married. Unfortunately.
She is.
Yeah.
She's gonna get married next chapter.
To Tyrion.
To whom?
Well,
to
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And how's that gonna go?
Oh, that's gonna be a disaster. Someone's definitely gonna be like, I object to this marriage. And it'll be like a whole, like, scandal.
Okay. So will they end up getting married?
Probably, yeah. It'll just be the person who objects, like, gets killed or something.
Okay. Fun. Yeah. Love that.
Yay. So exciting.
Can't wait for this wedding of a 12-year-old. I don't even think she's 13 yet.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Not whatever, but I don't want to dwell on it, so moving on.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any emails. Let me just triple check, because I checked, so I guess I'll double check. Nope, we're good. Okay, so people, send us some emails.
Yeah, come
Our
on,
email
y'all.
is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Our Discord link is in the description. Join that.
Mm-hmm.
And our Instagram is @popculturesymposium. Follow that for things. And most importantly, for updates when we are late on episodes. So, yeah. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.